Gatornationals as there is on the drag strip. Brock Yates is in the pits of alcohol drag strip finalist Bubba Sewell.
Okay, Bubba, well, bring me up to date now. We're going into the finals. What do you got to do, and what do you face as far as the competition is concerned?
Well, they say Woosley's broke, so I don't know if he'll make it, but we're going to go all out and try for a 30. So it'd be all-out run.
So you got to make a pass, though, right?
We got to stage the car and make a pass. So
what happens if it breaks and you don't get through the full quarter mile?
Well, they say it's supposed to coast through or somehow or another, so I guess if you have to push, you have to push.
You're going for it, though.
Right, it'd be all-out run.
Okay, what did you finally break on it?
Well, it stripped the teeth on the blower belt, so that was what the problem was. It felt like a good run. As soon as I hit high gear that stripped the teeth, it would have been another 40, so
okay.
It would have been
You got no problems replacing that drive, though, huh?
Oh, no, we're in good shape there. No problem.
Good, Bubba. Real good.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
Brock, you can tell Bubba that he looks like the champ as Don Woosley has officially thrown in the towel. It'll be Bubba Sewell on a single, but he's going to go for it. One of those elusive 6:30 elapsed times. This is the semifinals among the alcohol funny cars. Number one in the world champ Bob Gottschalk. Gottschalk and Mahalko from Indiana, the yellow car in the near lane. Their competition is going to be in the left-hand lane, the Cherokee Warrior out of Cleveland, Tennessee, and driven by Lou Winters.
Steve, this is a classic David and Goliath matchup. Of course, Gottschalk being the champion, as you said. Lou Winters, really not a very consistent competitor. This is by far the highest he's gotten in major competition, but he was the 8th quickest qualifier, which means that he has shown some surprising strength this afternoon.
So Gottschalk putting more heat in the engine. Here you see the supercharger, the injector. In fact, you see the throttle linkage connected to the size 10 boot of Bob Gottschalk as he tries to keep that motor clean, revving it up as they approach the starting line. One of these drivers will go to the Gatornationals finals. Gottschalk is off the mark first. Gottschalk in the near... Gottschalk engine explodes. Gottschalk is now coasting, but still he has enough momentum to get by Lou Winters. A 779 at only 123 miles an hour. Even still in the car, Gottschalk has got to be very concerned about that power plant in front of him.
Well, both cars had a lot of trouble, and we've had surprising amounts of engine problems in this funny car rounds, Steve.
More than I've seen in a long time. But this fella's had no problems whatsoever. Frank Monzo, the #1 qualifier. He has low elapsed time in the event, has been the most consistent competitor in the category today. Now, he hopes to get to the final round, but first he'll have to defeat Gary Henderson in the Wizard car in the right lane. Brock is with Bob Gottschalk at the end of the track.
Bob, I hear you got some big problems.
We don't know. We don't see no holes in the side of it, so we got to get back and check it out.
What happened coming on the run? Just
Quit running. Just like mag needle or something went away.
maybe not too bad.
Let's hope not.
All right. Okay. Thanks.
Well, the big question now is, are we going to have 2 buy runs, both in alcohol dragster and possibly in the funny car competition? But knowing Bobby Gottschalk, if there's any way possible to make it to the starting line, he'll be there. And he's going to race one of these cars. Either Gary Henderson in the beautiful Wizard car out of Memphis, Tennessee in the far lane, or Frank Monzo, who we talked about, the quickest car here today. Henderson taking his time, trying to collect his thoughts, concentrate on those beams when he gets up there. Try to pretend there's nobody in that other lane. Ask any good drag racer, and they'll tell you, I try to pretend there's nobody over there, that it's just me racing the lights and the clock. But sometimes that's impossible. You hear them, you see them, and occasionally you have to make some defensive maneuvers to avoid them. Frank Monzo wanted so badly to win the World Championship last year, and he missed it by just a very few points. So he has the #2 on the side of his car. He may get a chance to race Bob Gottschalk, who carries that #1. But first, Gary Henderson is in his way as they move to the starting line, the second half of the semifinals at the Gatornationals. They move together. Monzo and Henderson, a good semifinal until something goes wrong with Henderson's car. It is all Frank Monzo. Another one of those great 6:40 elapsed times, a 6:46 to be exact. So it will be Frank Monzo versus Bob Gottschalk in the final round of the alcohol funny car competition when we come back to Gainesville. In the stands for the final rounds of the annual Gatornationals here in Gainesville, Florida. Before we get to the finals, Brock Yates is in the pit area with one of the alcohol funny car drivers, Ace Monzo.
Ace, a few minutes left. Tell me what you're doing if you change anything to get the car ready for the last pass.
The car's pretty well ready. I made a pretty good clean pass. The car's not hurting anything, but my competition, Bob Gottschalk, had a little trouble on the previous run, and he won't be able to make it out to the final. So we'll be making a buy run for the win, but we're not going to take it easy. We're going to make a little change on the car and try and make it go faster.
That's good. You may know that the guys in Alcohol Dragster, same thing happened, that Bubba Sewell's going to make a single too. So it's kind of ironic that the two alcohol classes both are making single runs.
Yeah, it's been a little tough on parts this weekend. We've been pretty lucky. And, the weekend went pretty good. We're pretty happy.
The key phrase there from Frank Monzo was make it go faster. It doesn't matter if there's anybody over there to beat or not. The drag racer always tries to make it go faster. But this is the final in Super Gas, and you can only go so quick. Remember that 990.
It's interesting, Steve, that we've seen an awful lot of different kinds of cars run in Super Gas, but the big favorites seem to be the new compacts and subcompact bodies. Nice small cars, short wheelbase, but monster motors underneath.
Boy, they are just obliterating the starting line with tire smoke as they get ready for this final. Mike Mazza will be in the Vega in the far lane. And I really feel, Brock, the car that he'll be racing is a little harder to drive just because of its wheelbase.
Yeah, it's a really short little automobile. Let's not forget that over 100 of these guys showed up to compete in the Gatornationals. Now we're down to the final two.
As they move to the starting line, they push a little button on the shifter called the line lock that locks up the front brake so the car does not crawl and accidentally red light. Johnny LeBeau looks over at Mike Mazza as if to say, come on, I'm ready. Let's stage and get this over with.
Adrenaline levels running at about 7,000 RPMs, just like the engines. Good, clean start, no red light. Classic Super Gas competition, just head-to-head, down toward the finish line. Looks like Mazza. Yes, those are his fans. They're happy. Mike Mazza's got to be happy. A nice, clean 994, 125 miles an hour, Steve.
Yeah, no breakout here. Just good, clean competition. Mike Mazza, let's see if we can see who leaves first. Maybe Mazza by a little bit, and that's so important in Super Gas. Now, as they get down towards the finish line, they start playing this brain game and have to get on and off the throttles to keep from breaking out. Brock is with the happy champion.
Hey, Mike. Just like electric, huh?
Yeah, buddy. This is 2 in a year.
I know. You're doing super. You just got that thing dialed in. Do you actually drive it, or does it just kind of run down like an electric train or something?
I'll tell you what. I couldn't deep stage for 2 years, and they beat me and beat me and beat me. Now we're playing my game. That's just the fact. Is that right or not?
Our congratulations to Super Gas champion Mike Mazza. Now, we told you we were going to have bye runs at Alcohol Dragster and Funny Car. Well, technically it is a bye run, but both competitors agreed to race each other to put on a show, kind of an exhibition, but they are already crowned as champions. Bubba Sewell right here will be the Alcohol Dragster champion of the Gators, and opposite him is Frank Monzo. He will be the Alcohol Funny Car champ, but they're going to have a race anyway. There's always a lot of good-natured banter between the dragsters and the funny cars as to which is the quickest. The funny car can be competitive with the dragster because they actually run a bigger cubic inch engine. So both of these drivers are champions. Bubba Sewell winning his first ever title. Frank Monzo winning about his 10th or 12th. Somewhere in there. He's been in the winner's circle a lot.
But they're still going to race very hard. A little smoke coming out of Bubba Sewell's engine, but doesn't seem to make any difference. He's out of the gate and running very strong. He's going to blow Frank Monzo off this time.
So Bubba Sewell puts a nice 653, 211 mile an hour capper on the day, and the 19-year-old collects his first NHRA major event trophy.
Bubba ran it hard. I don't think Frank Monzo was in it. He may have had some problems.
Brock, these guys they call Sportsman drag racers gave us one heck of a show today, didn't they?
They sure did. Bubba Sewell was my favorite. You know, he came in here with his dad and his family, and he spent all afternoon with his face stuck in that engine. It was broken on every pass. They had problems. He came back and back and back. He never lost his good nature. He was just up all day for a 19-year-old kid. He really impressed me. And 6 times, as he told us, he's been a runner-up, and he never won one. And, well, I was just happy to see him do the job.
Well, no happier than he was. And in Funny Car, of course, Frank Monzo, who was world champion 2 years ago, is number 2 in the Alcohol Funny Car world right now from New Jersey. Won another one, very calm, very collected. In fact, just kind of mastered the class, didn't he?
Yeah, he really did. He didn't have any competition in the last run, and he still ran hard, tried hard, and he had problems in the course of the day, but never let them bother him. Just kept on coming.
Looked to me like he made a friend out of the Super Gas winner.
Yeah, well, old Mike Mazza, he'd never won anything before, and he's a classic drag racer. I mean, he came in here as an amateur, not expecting to win a lot of money. He didn't come in here with a big 18-wheeler, but he competed just as hard as everybody else, and it paid off for him.
You know, you drag racing fans out there, you know that there are nitro funny cars that go a little bit quicker and faster and nitro dragsters that go a little bit quicker and faster. But I'll tell you what, if you hear them advertising these alcohol funny cars and dragsters at your local NHRA drag strip, you know now what kind of show these drivers and cars can put on. For Brock Yates, this is Steve Evans, and we'll go back to the Tennessee Cowboy, Mr. Ed Bruce.
We've had a great day of racing here at the Gatornationals in Gainesville, Florida. As we've learned, drag racing has come a long way since the days people were just hot-footing it around town. If you get the urge to drag race, I hope you'll take the NHRA's advice and do it on the track. Right now, I'm going to get this baby back to his owner because he's wanting to go home, too. For Brock Yates and Steve Evans, I'm Ed Bruce. Have a good day.
The executive producer of Super Sports America is Harvey M. Palish. Produced and directed by John V. Mullen. Super Sports America. Sports action at its finest. Join us next week for another edition of Super Sports America, capturing the power, color, and action of uniquely American sports and the skill and the courage of the competitors. Super Sports America is